good evening, and welcome to Thursdays to Freedom. This is our weekly teleconference. It is Nikema Lee here, and I want to welcome everybody who is listening to us live and who will be listening to us in pre-recordings and who may be listening to us on our YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody who is a part of this. If you got this information from a friend, you want to make sure that you stay connected to us by going to NikemaLee.com, by becoming a member of our email list so that you can get the emails and understand what's going on, and just stay connected and definitely link up with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram at Nikema Lee. And Facebook is facebook.com/Nikema Lee Coaching. Last week, we talked about knowing your worth and commitment. We talked about the week before. This week, we're going to talk about what's going on inside of you being a direct reflection of the world outside. And I know many of you are like, okay, Nikema, the world that I see outside is, chaos, and there's a whole lot of drama in my life, or it's pretty boring, or whatever adjective that you want to use to describe your outside world. It could be perfect. You'd be like, Nikema, I have the perfect life and everything's going great. And that's good. And I'm going to say, well, that is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. So if you have a lot of drama in your life, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of chaos, then there's a lot of turmoil, drama, and chaos going on inside of you. And I'm talking about the battles that's going on inside of your head, the noises, the voices, the dilemmas, the insecurities. All of those things are just going to manifest themselves into your physical world. So let's take, for example, you are currently in a financial situation. You are under the gun, your rent is past due, your mortgage is past due, your car notes or whatever. You have all of these financial obligations. You can barely make ends meet. In other words, you're broke. What I'm saying is that you are broke spiritually. You are broke internally. You are living in an idea of lack and an idea that there isn't enough for you. And that's a battle that's raging internally. And because of that truth that you hold on to, that there is not enough, that you're always going to be broke, you can't do enough to make enough money, you're always going to have that situation manifest itself. You will always be broke. You will always not have enough money. That's because that's the dialogue, that's the internal dialogue that's going on inside of you. You have a broken spirit. And once you be able to take that idea and take that understanding and really and truly begin to say, okay, I believe in an unlimited God or an unlimited universe or an unlimited higher power that knows no lack. When you know that 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 you know, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, knowing that you know that you know that you know. When you know that you are attached to an abundant God, an abundant universe, an abundant higher power, then there is no such thing as not enough of. There is no such thing as of limitation. There is an unlimited supply, and all you have to do is line up with it, and get it. God, or whatever God that you believe in, or whatever higher power that you believe in, always wants to be in the blessing business, always wants to be in the giving business. You have to be open enough to receive. Now, how many of us finds ourselves in just typical day-to-day situations where somebody wants to give you a ride or wants to give you a cup of coffee or wants to buy you lunch or wants to, do you a favor. And we say, no, I don't need that from you. I could do it myself. Or, no, I don't need a ride. Or, no, I don't need your handout. I could do this on my own. You're essentially saying no to God and what blessings he wants to put forth for you. Things like when you go to the grocery store and the package of meat that you want is on a reduced sale price, or there's a sale on the juice that you buy for your kids. There's a way that sale prevented you from paying the price that you were going to pay, and you saved money. So essentially, you got free money. And I know that's kind of weird to believe, but that is in itself is a blessing. That's God's way of blessing you. That's God's way of giving to you. And sometimes we don't even see those small little things that happen to us daily, whether it's the gesture of someone saying hello to us when we don't feel well, whether it's somebody holding a door for us when we're trying to get into a building or leave out of a building, whether it is that person in a relationship who goes out of their way to do that special thing for you, or to take the time out to listen to you, or takes the opportunity to grow with you and share something with you that they would otherwise not have done. It's about seeing the small things in life. And when you begin to add up the small things in life inside, internally, thank you for that. I remember this. This is a great opportunity. And we begin to build on those small things, and those small things become big things. We're so wrapped up in finding the big thing. Like, we want the trees to shake and the lights to go out, and we want, the brand new car to show up. But yet we don't see the opportunity that somebody came along with a new business idea, or there was an opportunity to make a little bit of extra money at the job by doing this extra thing, or doing a couple of hours of overtime, and you're like, that's not for me. I got other things I need to do. It's about focusing on you in the inside. It's about understanding when I said broken spirits. Let's talk about being broken spiritually, about not feeling like you are worthy of the thing that you want, not feeling that you deserve the thing that you want. And I'm going to tell you a story. I like to tell stories. And I like to tell stories about myself, because I believe that when you hear it, firsthand account of somebody who's been right there where you are, or where you've been, or or where you think, I think that you may be headed, or you think that you may be headed. And I tell the story all the time. When I was 11 years old, my mother left me, came home from school, and she just wasn't there. And for all those years, since I was 11 years old to the age of 31, I craved love. This thing of being needed, of being wanted, of being loved has been my Achilles heel. That is my Trojan horse. That is my demon, so to speak. And just recently, very recently, these things surface again with all the affirmations, with all the love, with all the positive thinking. There's still things that are there that need to be dealt with and killed and burnt off so that they can continue to provide positivity into my life. So I came to this conclusion that I'm not worthy. And I spoke those words, and I said those words, and I felt the emotion, and I knew that even though in my intelligent mind I knew those things were not true, I knew those things were just an illusion, I knew those things were just fear, and fear of saying, well, what if I actually get the things that I actually asked for? I no longer have to beg, I no longer have to pray, I no longer have to wish, I no longer have to want. They just are. Now what do? Now what will I ask for? Because I've never asked for anything else but this, and I've never gotten it, and now I have it. And now what? does who I am now change? Do I then want something different? And if I want something different, am I not satisfied with what I have? And these dilemmas, and they go back and forth, and it's like, but at the end of the day, I just want this one thing. I just want to be loved. I just want to be needed. I just want to be a part of someone else's life. Not to negate the fact that I'm already a part of somebody else's life. I have kids. I'm already a part of somebody else's life. I have plenty of people who care for me. But sometimes our own fears get in the way. Our own insecurities get in the way and blind us. And that internal struggle reflects itself in your physical world. And I look at it in very small things you can see. And the way the upkeep of someone's home. If it's super, super messy, then there's super, super messiness going on internally. People who are calm typically have a very feng shui, movement into their home. Everything has an order. Everything is in a neat and tidy and things like that. And then there's, like a person's car. If the person's car is super, super junky and there's old French fries in there and there's, clothes and shoes and all kinds of, that tells me that there's something going on internally. There's a chaos going on internally. Looking at a person's desk at work, if it's completely unorganized, then there's an unorganization within. And the same thing is reflective into your love life, into your sex life. If you're dealing with demons and feeling unworthy and feeling insecure and feeling lonely, then when you go to lay with someone in a physical sense, you can only fake it for so long before you typically don't get the fulfillment and satisfaction that you're there to get, because you have so many layers to get through, so many things to sort of, try to figure out. And it's super important that we find our inner peace, that we find our inner peace, and you find that soul within. It's important. And I know a lot of people say, when it comes to you, take your own advice, and I have to emphatically say yes, because that is the only way I know how to be. And the truth is that you've probably heard these same words before, but they were thoughts in your head. And the thoughts that you have already had in your head, the emotions that you've already had in your heart, I'm not saying anything to you that you absolutely have never heard, because you heard them before, because you said them. And it takes someone else to say it. It takes for what we like to hear, confirmation from somebody else, because we already know the answers to what we want to do in life. We already know the changes that we need to make. We just want to hear from somebody else. We want to believe that there's got to be a more complex way of dealing with it. It can't be that simple. As to just do it. Like, I really want to love this person. I really want to be in a relationship with them, but I can't trust anybody else. The last time I was in a relationship, I got my heart broken so bad. I really can't trust anybody. But I can never love anybody if I just don't love them. And then you go to the store and you hear somebody say, in order to love somebody, you got to love them. And then you go to church and you hear the pastor say, in order to love somebody, you got to love them. And then your girlfriend, your good girlfriend who you haven't seen in 10 years, she calls you up all of a sudden and you're having this in-depth conversation. And all of a sudden she says, well, in order to love somebody, you got to love them. And you say, you know what, that is confirmation. And then what do you say? You say, man, I can't trust. It's hard. It's hard to trust. I can't do it. What if you hurt me again? Well, what if they do? But ask yourself this question. What if they don't? What if they love you? What if magic happens? And good question. And it's that answer that we're afraid of, because we have been so defined by our struggle. We wouldn't know who we would be in the success. I'm going to say that again. That's right. Grab your pencils and paper, and I hope that you guys have brought all of those items to the call, because you definitely are going to be hit with some jewels. But we are so defined. We are so defined by our struggles that we don't know who we are in our success. I'm telling you. Now, tonight I want to open the call up to those who are on. I'm not sure who's on because we started recording right at 8 o'clock. But if you are, unmute your phone. Just let us know your name and where you're from. And let us know what your outside world looks like. And then look inwardly and say, is my inside world the same? And you already know the answer, and you already know the solution, and now you just have to take the action. You have to take the action. And most of the time we're so afraid of the success. We know failure. We can do failure. We know what failure looks like, smells like. We got T-shirts, handbags, and all those other things when it comes to failure. But success, it eludes us. That's why we're so overjoyed, and we shout, and we praise, and we jump, and we rock, and we run, and we holler. Because when we have success, it's like a nugget. It's like, oh, yes, this is it. And it's a little morsel, and we hold on to it like a nugget and say, this is the best thing that I've ever had, and I probably will never see success again because this, I did this 100 times, and out of 100, I had 99 failures. I got more failures than I can count, but I got this one success. I could do failure. But what if we said, I have the one success that I need. All the others were trials. They weren't mistakes. They weren't failures. They were just different approaches that didn't work that led me to this one. I found a way to get it. And now I can do the same thing over and over again because that was successful for me. This is what it took for me to be successful. This is the determination and the discipline that it took in order for me to be successful. In order for me to gain this thing, this is the work I had to do to get it. And that's what we forget. We forget about the amount of work it took. It took you 10 years to get that success. Now that you know how to do it, it should only take you 5 years to get that same level of success. It should only take you 5 months to get that success again. It should only take you 5 days because you already know what you needed to do, and you build on that. And what we do is we forget. We're like, oh, well, I'm not doing that. At one time, you were cold calling 20 people before you went to bed. And now that you made that one sale that brought you in $1 million, you're like, man, I don't have to cold call nobody no more. Well, that's what it took you to get the millions. And now you talk about, well, I got to get 5 million. Well, you're going to have to cold call 20 people a night. Now you may have to cold call 50 people before you go to bed at night in order to reach the level of success that you desire. And it's about understanding your internal fears, your internal reservations, your internal chaos, your internal drama, and find that peace. And when you find peace within, when you find acceptance within, when you find love within, you'll find love without. It'll come to you in a blink of an eye. And I'm not talking about I love me and I love myself and I treat myself well. And I'm talking about the you, that deep down seed of a person, that thing. And for me, it's the 11-year-old. It's loving the 11-year-old that was abandoned by her mother. That entity, that thing, loving that person. It's loving the ex-wife whose husband walked out on her. It's about loving. It's about loving the girl who got pregnant in college and didn't get a chance to finish her college career at the time that she was supposed to. It's about loving the soldier who got out of the Army early because she did it. It's about loving the mistakes that I've made. It's about loving the person who missed the opportunity. It's about loving the person who didn't care how she felt about herself. And when you learn to love that person, when you love to believe in you, the peace and the serenity and the love that you're searching for falls into it all falls into place. And this teleconference is something that we do every day, every week. You can definitely communicate with us, again, on our Facebook page, on Twitter, as well as Instagram. And this video will, as you're watching, is a part of our YouTube broadcasting station. There's so many wonderful things. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share what it's like to have internal battles, play a part in your external world, and how if you're not satisfied with the way that your life is, the things you see around you, find satisfaction within. Find satisfaction within, and you will find satisfaction in your outside world. I look forward to speaking with everyone who's listening. I look forward to speaking with those on our Facebook page. Again, go to facebook.com/Nikema Lee Coaching, as well as pick up a copy of the book, 30 Days to Freedom, Becoming Authentic. And one of the techniques on how to find inner peace is in the book. It's the ultimate guide to falling in love with the real you. If you go to your local Barnes & Nobles, if you go to Amazon.com, but you can also go to NikemaLee.com and order you a copy of the book. And one of the things that we teach in the book about finding inner peace is meditation. It's finding that meditation. It's taking those 10 minutes a day and finding your center and finding that quietness so you can listen to that voice that says, you need to get up early. You need to maintain your focus. You need to change your job. You need to leave that relationship. You need to let go of the hurt. You need to embrace the love. You need to, whatever that voice is speaking to you, it speaks to you in those times of silence. And then you walk out and you say, I'm going to take action. And you take action on faith that what you've just been told was for you, meant for you, and only can be done by you. and you walk out on faith into this world, and you change, and you be, and you do. You change your life. You be who you are, and you do what you've come here to do. And is that not the beauty of life? Yes, it's the beauty of life. I love moments to just sit and chat and express the level of love and intimacy. This is intimacy. This is intimacy. It's intimacy. You allow somebody to see the real you, who you are. That's intimacy. Intimacy is not having sex with somebody at a slow pace, or you decide you want to kiss the back of their neck and you hold them and you lick them in many places. That's not intimacy. That's just slow sex. Intimacy is knowing that I'm hurt and I'm broken and I'm battered, and allows you to see that in me. Allow you to see the changing of my face. Allow for you to see that I don't always make the right choices. Allow you to see that I enjoy triumph and that I can rejoice with the best of them. Allowing you to see me. So allow someone to see the real you. But in order for somebody to see the real you, you've got to be able to see the real you. Embrace that person. And if you want to change it, change it. If you want to change it, change it. How do you change it? You take action. How do you recognize that you do that self-inventory? You look for that peace. You look at your outside world. That is your first sign. That is your first sign. Is your outside physical world is not meeting your expectations. Something's wrong. If life is not going the way that you expect it to, the way that you want it to, then something has to change. That is your litmus test. If you look at your world and say, well, it's perfect. I don't want anything to change. This thing is great. It's absolutely, I couldn't ask for anything more. This is the best thing ever. Then you are having the best day ever. But if you look at your life and there's anything in this world that you could complain about, you can find injustice with, then you need to change within. Change the way that you see things. Change the way that you think about stuff. Change your perspective. Change your behavior. And then the things outside of you will change. This has been an amazing night just for me, as I think that I'm preaching to myself. I think that I'm embracing these ideas for myself, and just to be able to hear them and say them and know them and feel them. And again, I already guarantee you that for those who are listening to this call, the words that I'm saying are not foreign to you because you've heard yourself say them. You just needed what we call confirmation from someone else. The truth is that you're your own coach. You can lead your own self. But sometimes you need to hear it from someone else. Sometimes you've got to reach out on faith to someone else because it's scary out here. It's really scary out here. And you're not alone. You're not alone. I'm here with you every step of the way. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Make sure you tell a friend about us. Make sure that everybody you know who you think needs this call, who needs this opportunity to talk with someone, make sure you let them know. We're right here. I look forward to talking to you all. Have a wonderful, joyous, amazing weekend. I love you guys.